Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I am honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight Dr. Mohamed Roshdy, the economic banking expert and the lecturer at Cairo University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Anytime. First of all, we have seen President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on the 2nd of October during the conference of the story of a homeland or a story of a nation, speaking about the achievements that have been made and done over the past 9 years, and he highlighted the importance of having the opportunity for a change. If you as a citizen want to change, you have the opportunity to be participating in the presidential elections that will be held next month. First of all, I would like to highlight the achievements made during the past 9 years under the tenure of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, in your opinion.
In my humble opinion, I believe that we have main pillars that the strategy of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi during his presidential period, actually. The main pillars, I believe, the infrastructure part, mega projects, the agriculture, the health part, in addition to the challenge for the GDP growth, actually. In addition to the financial inclusion and digital transformation. This is go beside the challenges for the Ukrainian and Russian war, in addition to the two revolutions, actually.
Yes.
If we are talking about the mega projects, we have a lot of achievements, which I believe that one of the main great achievements, the Suez Canal, in addition to the administrative capital, the Daba nuclear power plant. This is one of the most important things. In addition to a lot of mega projects concerning the renewable energy, which help Egypt actually to be qualified to host COP27.
Yes.
And this was a great positive message to the global community that Egypt is going on the strategic part, which is the sustainability, which aligned with Egypt Vision 2030. This is in addition to education and health budget that increased, or I believe that it's credible, in addition to the new planets. And we have a lot of initiatives. One of the main initiatives, or the crucial or strategic initiatives, in my humble opinion, which is the initiative for 100 billion exports. $100 billion exports. Yes. And this is, if we concluded, it's a positive message for investors to come to Egypt to bring FDI, and we are working on to do that. This is a strategic goal, and to achieve this strategic goal, we have to have the infrastructure, changing the law, putting incentive, the law mainly for putting a tax law, putting incentives for investors to come Egypt. And this is crystal clear how the government integrated and all sectors in Egypt integrated together to achieve this strategic goal. And those are, in my humble opinion, are the mega achievements that did during the past presidential period.
Yes, as an expert in economic banking, what were the main achievements that were made during the past 9 years for the future of the country as well?
I believe one of the most important achievement, which is if you would like to have to change your GDP growth or you increase it, this, as you know, and our audience, the GDP structure consists of 3 main pillars.
Yes.
Which is the agriculture part, the industrial part, and the service part. And if you would like to have the fastest or the quick win, what as they are calling it, which is to increase the GDP growth, actually, you have to focus on the service part, which has the highest added value. And to be honest, we are not inventing the wheel, actually. What's happening nowadays, a lot of developed countries, they focused on this part to increase its GDP growth, and that's what we did. We have a lot of planets. The President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi actually, he launched a lot of planets that depend actually on renewable energy. You can see, and our audience see that easily. And this is one of the most crucial things. And in addition to, one of the most important things, if you would like to build a solid country, you have to focus on two main things, in my humble opinion, which is the education part and the health part. As you know, those are the manpower, the nation are the manpower to build the country. And this is what happened. I believe the education budget and health budget during the last 9 years is, I believe, it's credible nowadays. You can imagine, and a lot of universities opened in addition to a lot of things. And this is at the end, the final conclusion that reflected on GDP growth. Despite the fact we have a lot of challenges. I stated previously the Ukrainian invasion war, which negatively impacted the globe, and it reflected on the global inflation wave actually, and the COVID. Despite those challenges, we have one of the highest growth, economic growth, GDP growth actually.
Yes.
Those are, I believe, those one of the most important things by figures, not just we are saying that we have blah, blah, blah. No, we have figures.
You've mentioned, Doctor, that we have to rely, as everyone else, we are not inventing the wheel, as you mentioned, that we have to rely on the services and the agriculture and the industrial part as well. How would you see the development that we have seen over the past 9 years in agriculture and the industry as well?
We have a lot of development and mega project concerning the agriculture part and the industrial part.
Yes.
We have a lot everywhere. You can see in Sinai, there's agriculture and industrial projects, Upper Egypt, across Egypt, you know, Delta and New Cairo, a lot of countries, a lot of cities, we can see this easily. The challenge when we are doing that, to keep low-income people, and we have a lot to keep the social level and keep subsidy for them. And this is what happened as government and
yes.
Presidential Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Also, he didn't forget that part, the important part. Takaful and Karama was one of the most important projects that the government is focusing on it. I believe that it covered, as far as I recall, 3.7 million households, about 12.9 million individual, and
yes.
it expected that it will reach to 5 million household by end of 2023. And this is one of the most important things. All those projects which positively reflected on the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate, as far as I recall, last year was 7.4%. Nowadays, in 2023, it reached 6.9%. And if we turn it back to 2013, as far as I recall, it reached 13.4%. It's it's decreased by 50%. And this is what we are aiming to see. And what we are hoping nowadays, we are hoping to see a new change, new things, that everyone in Egypt is working together, the private sector, the public sector, the government, everyone, to build our new country.
Yes, Doctor, on the other hand, we have seen, as I mentioned, during the conference of the story of a homeland and the story of a nation, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi speaking as a presidential candidate that if you want change, you should participate in the presidential elections in the month of December. How do you think the response of the Egyptian citizens would be regarding the presidential elections in the month of December?
I believe this is a crystal clear message to all the Egyptian citizens that you have the choice. If you would like to do anything, this is your country. Go and vote for this. Go and vote. It's crystal clear message for all the Egyptian citizens, despite the fact that we have a lot of achievements, and at the same time, in parallel, we have a lot of challenges. We faced a lot of challenges, but I believe this is a crystal clear message that I totally support this point. To anyone has any opinion, he should go to the election and select, and this is what we are calling it in a short way, which is the democracy.
Yes. Yes, the stage is set for democracy, as you mentioned, Doctor, and you deal with a lot of youth regarding your work as well at Cairo University. The political awareness, the awareness itself regarding the presidential elections, of the ongoing circumstances, not just in Egypt, but in the region as well. How can we be increasing that in the near future?
I believe the government has an ambitious plan concerning this, especially as you know that not only Egypt but the African continent, which is, they are calling it the youth continent actually.
Yes.
If we compare it with the European countries, nowadays you can see the pyramid of age that Africa has almost 60 to 70% as far as I recall.
Yes.
They are youth. If we go to Europe, it's inverted. The pyramid is inverted, actually. We have actually a portion. We have to increase their awareness, and the government has ambitious plan concerning empowering youth, empowering women, and those are the main pillars actually to build the country, youth and women. In addition to giving them the opportunity to have small and medium enterprises, to be an entrepreneurs, this is one of the most important things, and it will positively reflect on the economy and GDP growth. As you know, and our audience, simply the SMEs, small and medium enterprises, are one of the most important things that economies are built on it. ABC investment, as you know, and our audience, if you would like to invest, you have to diversify your portfolio. Simply to simplify it to you and our audience, like if we have two large companies that leading the economy, if one of them is defaulted, what will happen? We will lose like 50% of our economy. But if we are, nowadays, we are empowering youth, and we have a lot of SMEs, small and medium enterprises. If one of them defaulted, another one will come, and it will not make a great difference. And this is the healthy thing to build an economy. And this is aligned with empowering youth and giving them a lot of facilities, and increasing the awareness of youth is a crucial thing. Increasing political awareness, increasing financial awareness, increasing the importance of their role to build an economy and a country. Those are the main pillars to build the new republic of Egypt.
Doctor, you've mentioned a very important point, which is the small and medium enterprises. And of course, a lot of youth are thinking about being entrepreneurs and making money out of small projects and getting financing from banks, as we have seen the initiative made by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi a couple of years ago to be giving more loans with little interest for the youth to be having small and medium enterprises more and more. How would you see, on the other hand, the response of the young men and the young women of having more ideas? Are we having more ideas and bigger will, if we can say that they want to be taking the risk and entering the market with the small and medium enterprises and making more money and benefiting the economy as well?
I believe that you are hitting a nerve, actually. The willingness, let me quote you, the willingness, which is the most crucial thing.
Yes.
Willingness, it's the most important things, I believe. The youth, they have time, they have health, they are motivated to do a lot of things. Motivating them and maximize the benefit of them to, or best utilize them to build their country. This is the most important things. And the government did a lot of things and the incentives for them, starting from the initiative to lend them with lower interest rate,
Yes.
which is for SMEs, which it reached, as far as I recall, from 5 to 8% by Central Bank of Egypt. And after that, the Ministry of Finance is leading this mega project, in addition to facilitating a lot of things, like establishing a company. Nowadays, you can see that we are in a world that's quite dynamic. The only constant in this world is what?
Change.
The change. The only constant is a change. You can see easily that Gafi General Authority, of Investment, you can see that you can establish your company through the internet nowadays, and you can take the golden license, and this is aligned with, at the same time, with the government incentive, tax incentive. They are waiving them from a lot of taxes. This is a positive message to youth and for investors to come to invest in Egypt, because we have the manpower, we have infrastructure, we have a lot of things, renewable energy, and those are the main pillars. And if we are empowering youth and giving them the opportunity to have their enterprises and to be entrepreneurs nowadays, they will serve the foreign investors. And this is positively reflect on the FDI. And this is what the government is doing nowadays, and the president, and this is the ambitious plan of Presidential Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. It was one of the most important things to achieve one of the biggest dreams, $100 billion exports.
Yes.
And this is the strategic goal, and this is aligned with 2030 vision. Can you imagine? I'm just going through a cycle which is they are supporting and serving each other.
Yes.
There's no, nowadays we can see that there's no contradictions. We raised up that the government is working on a side, and the presidential leadership is having ambitious plan, and the youth have a different opinion, and the investors.
It is the same agenda, the same plan.
Nowadays you can see the cycle. They are serving each other to achieve the strategic goal.
You've mentioned the golden license. Is it exclusive for the foreign investors, the potential foreign investors, or it could be attained by the local investors, potential investors, as you mentioned, someone young who has an idea, he could be getting a loan from a bank and he could be getting this golden license, or is it just for the foreign investors to be making it easier without obstacles to be investing in the country?
It's available for both, and I believe that the government has an ambitious plan to increase the awareness of how establishing a country, of how establishing a company with a lot of facilities in terms of interest rate, if you'd like to take a loan, in terms of tax incentive, a lot of things.
Yes, Doctor, we'll be heading to the other report of the daily debate for tonight, which focuses on the statements made by the National Dialogue about the upcoming presidential elections, which will be taking place at the end of the year here in the country, regarding the stage set for democracy, for a democratic state, for a civil democratic state for the Egyptians following the presidential elections. We'll be having more details regarding those statements in the upcoming report. So stay tuned.
Egypt's National Dialogue demanded that state institutions and bodies remain impartial and treat all candidates in the upcoming presidential elections equally, ensuring their constitutional and legal rights and providing equal opportunities. This came in a statement outlining a number of principles for the management of pluralistic and competitive presidential elections. These principles are seen as a prelude to completing the democratic transition process in Egypt. The statement emphasizes the right of anyone interested in running for the presidency to freely campaign, seek endorsements, communicate with voters, and receive fair media coverage. The national dialogue calls on all Egyptian political forces, including supporters of the regime, opposition groups, and independent individuals, to view the upcoming presidential elections as an important step towards strengthening the path of a modern civil democratic state. It also highlighted the need to make every possible effort to ensure integrity of all general, local, and union elections. Meanwhile, President Fattah Sisi stressed during the Story of the Homeland conference that took place in the new administrative capital between 30th of September and 2nd of October, the achievements of the past decade are obvious, adding that those who disagree can affect change in the upcoming presidential elections. The president said that this is what has been accomplished and you have the opportunity for change in the upcoming elections. However, the president also criticized what he referred to as a false narrative that had generated skepticism about the state's achievements, emphasizing that nations are constructed through development and reform, not through destruction, defamation, skepticism, or injustice. When we claim that a responsible individual is deficient, corrupt, or ill conceived, we do them an injustice and tarnish their efforts, he further added. The president pointed out that the development happened even as the state was waging counter-terrorism operations.
Welcome back. You're still watching the daily debate, and I still have here in the program with me for tonight Dr. Mohamed Roshdy, the economic banking expert and the lecturer at Cairo University. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight. Of course, we have seen during the course of the past report the statements made by the National Dialogue regarding the presidential elections, and once again the statements made by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the presidential candidate Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for the upcoming presidential elections that will be held here in Egypt next month. Regarding the economy and the aspirations of the Egyptians, the citizens living within the country, what are the economic aspirations for an Egyptian citizen from the potential presidential candidate or for the elected president in the future?
In my humble opinion, there are three main points, which is let me summarize them in 2 points.
Yes.
For sake of time, which is the first one, which is financial inclusion.
Yes.
Which is the most important things. If we do it in a proper way, this will help us to a lot of achievements. Why I'm focusing on the economic part actually, this is the economics part, which is a reflection of the political part, health part, educational part, all sectors, then their work will be measured or reflected on the economic part.
Yes.
To cut the long story short, which is the most important things nowadays, you can see country is controlling a lot of countries due to the economic power.
Yes.
And this is the new challenge or the new war nowadays. I believe the financial inclusion is the most crucial things that, especially here, we have like 60% to 70% of the economy. It is a gray economy, and I believe it will be decreased gradually. And financial inclusion figures increased. You can see easily that we reached to around 65% from the total population who eligible to open accounts on banks. Actually, they have accounts nowadays. They come from 30% from 4 to 5 years ago.
Yes.
And this is a positive signal to the globe that we are on the right track. If we have what mean to the audience that a lot of people have accounts on banks. Actually, this means that there is a crystal clear economy. The economic wheel cycle is working in a proper way. In addition to that, they will pay tax. Everything will be controlled by the government, and you can use a lot of services, which is the education part. The budget will increase, the health part will increase, from the revenues will come through this part. And the second point, which is the digital transformation, which is, as we discussed previously, the only constant in this life is a change. We are in a dynamic globe. Actually, the digital transformation is the most important part that will, the new era, our new era, if we lost this part, we will go like we will disappear like dinosaurs, actually. This is one of the most important things. Nowadays,
we have to develop. It's an obligation.
It's an obligation. We don't have option. We don't have the luxury to choose.
Yes.
At the end, those things will positively reflect on our GDP growth and let Egypt be one of the tiger economies. And this is actually the globe is seeing this easily, which is as far as I recall, the BRICS agreement.
Yes.
Why they selected us to be part of this, due to our strategic and ambitious plan.
Yes, and finally, Doctor, how do you see the future for the country in 2 minutes after the presidential elections, whoever wins?
First thing, we have a great and golden opportunity that we have the choice nowadays.
Yes.
For a lot of decades, we don't have a choice. But nowadays we have the choice. We have a lot of candidates. You can choose, and the current president, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, is saying that you have the choice. If you'd like to change, go and change. This is, we didn't hear this previously.
Yes.
By the way, to be honest, I believe the future of Egypt, if we go and we used our right and go for election and select the suitable candidate for us, and will continue on the growth and our ambitious plan, will be one of the tiger economies, and we are returning actually back to play our historical role in Africa and the world.
Yes, hopefully, Dr. Mohamed Roshdy, the economic banking expert and the lecturer at Cairo University. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Anytime. And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.